said a minute on.
All right, calling this council meeting of November 22nd, 2022 to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Horace Fromme.
Here.
Dick Marshke.
Here.
Jim Bansma. Marie Fensky. Here. Don Miller.
Here.
Bryce Remy.
Here.
All please rise and join me in pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to act on the council minutes of October 25th, October 27th, and committee of the whole minutes of October 27th?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion on the minutes? All right, if not, clerk, please call the roll.
Don Miller.
Aye.
Bryce Remy.
Aye.
Horace Fromme.
Aye.
Dick Marshke.
Aye.
Marie Fensky. Aye.
Agenda item 5, do we have any public appearances? Take 2, public appearances. All right. Kristen, before I declare public hearing, do you have any comments on the 2023 budget?
Why, of course I do. Just for your information on your desk, you will find a City of Horicon assessed valuation comparison, compares the values from 2021 to 2022. I'm not sure if I've shared this with you in the past, but that is on your desk for your information. Just wanted to cover with you that the 2023 City of Horicon budget is comprised of 14 separate funds, including enterprise funds, and is approximately $9.5 million. The general fund is the fund most are familiar with, as this is the primary operating fund and funded with levied tax dollars and state aids. The 2023 general fund budget is a deficit budget, meaning the proposed expenditures outweigh the proposed revenues. The proposed deficit is $382,273. The deficit is planned to be paid for by the city's existing general fund balance. As we previously discussed at the Committee of Whole, the budget is a plan, and things change throughout the year. For example, although the 2022 budget was adopted as a $125,429 deficit, it is anticipated to end in a $332,829 surplus. Also important to note is that although the city is proposing to adopt a deficit budget, they are still going to meet the expenditure restraint program guidelines dictating expenses cannot increase by more than 8.2% over 2022. The proposed budget reflects increased expenditures of 8.1%. Funding projected to receive in 2023 for complying with ERP is $98,000. The general fund is primarily financed via levy and state aids. The proposed 2023 general fund levy is $2,127,913, a 0.91% increase over last year. The 0.91% equals $19,227. So again, it's a $19,000 increase over last year. This is the maximum amount the city is allowed to levy. The other portion of the levy is called debt service. The city is permitted to levy the costs associated with general obligation debt. The proposed 2023 debt service levy is $399,838, a 6.58% or $24,668 increase over last year. The total 2023 proposed levy is $2,527,751, a 1.77% increase or $43,895 over 2022. In order to arrive at the mill rate, you need the levy, which we have just covered, and the equalized value. You have distributed in front of you a listing of equalized values. Equalized values for the city have declined 3.5% from 2021. The largest decline in value comes from manufacturing, which is completed at a state level. Deere did successfully appeal their value and received a reduction of $5 million in their value. The city has not had a full reevaluation since 2011, and our current aggregate ratio is 0.734. Utilizing the proposed general fund and debt service levies and the city's equalized values, the 2023 mill rate, including TIDS, is 11.6886 per thousand. This creates a tax increase, city portion only, of $33 on a $150,000 home.
Thank you. Is there a motion to open a public hearing on the 2023 budget?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Dick Marshke,
Aye.
Murray Fenske, Don Miller,
Aye.
Bryce Remy.
All right, we're in a public hearing.
Only question I have is, is the city going to be reassessed ever?
So typically the state will notify the city when they are falling out of compliance. Last year, our aggregate ratio was at about a 0.85. I would have expected that we would have received notification. Obviously, I'm a little bit surprised that it dropped from 0.85 to 0.73 within 1 year.
Really, with the price of
Our
houses?
Our 2020, and that's all comes from the state values. We don't, in our 2023 budget, contain funds for re-eval.
Okay,
That being said, that's certainly something that council can take into consideration
because
to do
isn't
a
the
budget
average like
amendment.
every 10 years?
It kind of just depends on,
You know-
on where the values fall. When you look at the aggregate ratios across Dodge County, as far as cities go, we are one of the lowest. So it looks like a lot more of the cities have completed theirs more recently than we have. I think only one of the cities is actually lower than ours is. Juneau's is lower even than ours is. So that is potentially a recommendation that maybe the city will want to consider in 2023, even though it's not budgeted, that you would perhaps forego a different budgeted expense or utilize fund balance to do a budget amendment and go through a reevaluation. So that's something you perhaps would want to look at in January or February. So you would have a different story next year.
It's just a question
Fair
because I'm
question.
looking at a decline, and that surprises me. But it was the manufacturer.
Right, the majority is
Yeah.
the state. Yep.
Because I know how much the houses are going for.
Correct.
Do we have anyone else to speak during the public hearing? All right, we have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Dick Marshke,
Yes.
Murray Fenske. Don Miller,
Aye.
Bryce Remy.
Aye.
Forrest Fromme.
Aye.
Agenda item 7, act on the ordinance 2022-19, An ordinance adopting the 2023 budget and the 2022 tax levy for the city of Horicon.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on the ordinance? All right, if not, clerk, please call the roll.
Todd Miller,
Aye.
Bryce Rummy,
Aye.
Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Dick Marshke,
Aye.
Marie Fenske. Aye.
Motion carries. All right, agenda item 8, Personnel and Finance Committee report. Forrest.
All right, Personnel and Finance Committee met on November 15th at 5 o'clock. All members present with no public appearances. We had a motion to approve our October minutes. Motion carried. We had a discussion regarding the current waste management contract. We did not end up having a discussion regarding EMS staffing. The coordinator was not available. Motion by the committee to approve the bills for October. Motion carried, and we start our next meeting for December 15th at 5 p.m. and adjourn into closed session at 5:15 and did not reconvene into open session.
Thank you. Jim is not here for the Public Works and Development Committee report. If you have a copy, I can.
I do.
Public Works and Development met on November 3rd. All members present. Minutes were approved for October 6th. No public appearances. They discussed the speed and turn options on Chandler, Washington, and Birchcrest. They learned that the Salter on the truck number 9 is aging and replacement parts are no longer available. As of this date, leaf pickup is ongoing, but it's done now. Mill and overlay projects in progress, but they're, I assume, done now as well. The trucks and equipment have been transitioned to winter duties. And the backhoe did arrive, the new one on November 14th. Utility installation continues at City View. I believe we're good to go there as well, or we're done?
They may have finished today.
Okay, next meeting is Thursday, December 1st at DPW. And that's it. Public safety, Dick?
Public safety meeting met November 8th at 6 p.m. All members present. Motion by Remy, second by Fenske to approve October 11th minutes. Motion carried. No public appearances, no monthly reports. Nothing from East Lake Street Task Force. We had discussion on speed deterrence. Fenske went over Facebook poll data for Washington, Chandler, and Birchcrest Road. Discussion on speed in those neighborhoods. The survey will impact the neighborhoods. Discuss winter parking. Motion by Remy, second by Marshke to approve 1-year operator's license for Sean Sutton. All members, nay. Motion denied. Next meeting date was set December 13th at 6 p.m. at the Public Safety Building. Motion to adjourn by Remy, second by Marshke. All voted yea. Motion to adjourn at 6:19.
Agenda item 11. Park Board report, Bryce.
Park and Recreation Board meeting was called to order at 6:01 p.m. by Chairperson Remy. All members were present. There was a motion to approve previous minutes. Motion carried. There were no public appearances. Park support, getting parks ready for winter. All park bathrooms will be closed by Thursday, November 10th. And spring and fall mowers will be done by the end of the month. Aquatic Center report discussed budget for the pool from the council meeting, and I would like to see a proposal from Drew to bump up lifeguard wages. Recreation report, current activities include youth basketball, which has 68 participants, up from 63 in fall of 2021. Youth volleyball has 30 participants, up from 0. Homeschool gym activities have 30 participants. Future activities include winter youth basketball, winter youth volleyball, adult co-ed volleyball, and adult 3 versus 3 basketball that all start in January 23. Jason Thangy has done an outstanding job at Horicon Rec and did accept a job elsewhere. We're going to have a replacement with the start date of mid-December. Dan Brunt Gym does have open pickleball on Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to noon. Times are available for beginners and advanced competitive play. There was an update on the park plan and priorities. Park plan draft has all the amendments from last meeting, waiting on updated maps. Hope to present that at the December meeting. We recognize Eugene Rossing for setting up the bikes and maintaining them. The Horicon bicycle program will benefit kids in the future. No updates on the Horicon free kayak program. There was a presentation by Remy on a natural playground and how they could be incorporated in Horicon. Set next meeting date for December 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. at City Hall. Motion to adjourn by Remy, second by Marski. All voted aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:05 p.m.
Thank you. Planning Commission report, Don.
Plan Commission for November 14th is called to order at 5:30 by Mayor Moss. Members present, Moss, Miller, Magnuson, Ward, Biederman, Gullenbach, Ampeson, and Westermeyer. Members missing were Sullivan. Also in attendance were citizens to speak on the conditional use permit at 510 North Palmatory, as well as Cody Vanderhei. Motion and a second to approve the October 10th minutes. All in favor? No public appearances. There was a motion and a second to open the public hearing to grant a conditional use permit at 510 North Palmatory. All voting aye. Concerned citizens brought up potential zoning issues and were given satisfactory explanations. There was a motion and a second to close the public hearing at 510 North Palmatory. All voting in favor. Motion and a second to approve the conditional use permit at 510 North Palmatory. All voting aye. Motion and a second to adjourn, and the meeting was adjourned at 5:58 p.m.
Thank you. All right, I just have a couple things to quickly talk about. It sounds like City View is going very well in the plan, which is fantastic. Congrats to Mabel and Columbus football. That was exciting to watch. Very exciting for your communities. Thank you to all the department heads and the council for a productive and very somewhat painless budget process. So thank you for that. And as you probably noticed, we're streaming right now, and I don't plan on using this for committees at this point, just city council meetings. Other than that, thank you again for everything, and we'll keep moving down the agenda. On number 14, we have a presentation of the National Weather Service Award to the city of Horicon.
That would be me. Hi, my name is Ben. I work for the National Weather Service, Milwaukee Sullivan office that serves most of southern Wisconsin. And I don't know if any of you know, some of you may, the treatment plant takes daily weather observations for us. And the reason why I'm here is because sometime in the last 3 years, I would have to go back and look, but we've been trying to catch up from being down from COVID. They crossed the 50-year threshold of taking observations for us. So that's a pretty momentous occasion. So a little bit each day, but you add it up, and that's a fair amount of time and effort. Summertime temperatures, precipitation, pretty painless. This time of year, like in the last week, that's a fair amount of work and effort because the way the rain gauge works is the snow falls into the gauge. They've got to take it inside and melt it, take it back out, snowfall, snow depth, all that kind of thing. And we really couldn't do what we do the way we do it if it wasn't for sites like this. I mean, the data is truly indispensable. You can't do it from afar. You can't do it automatically. You can't do it via computer. I mean, it's got to be on the ground, like real people doing the observation. So it's the least we can do to show our support. Now, I thought maybe Matt was going to be here, but apparently he's not. So
Couldn't make it.
yeah, and which is fine. But yeah, I know a lot of people probably think that the ones that are doing it, not necessarily here, but just kind of in general, that they send the data in and it just kind of goes into the ether and nobody ever looks at it again. And that is not the case at all. We look at the data every day. We use it for making maps and text reports. We use it to verify the forecast, judge model bias, just kind of overall situational awareness. Trying to figure out just how like we issue a winter storm warning or a flood watch, how much rain. I mean, we use this data constantly. And then you have the climate aspect on top of that. This is the official climate record for the area. So if there was some kind of legal proceeding, the data that these guys take would get certified from a center in Asheville, North Carolina, to be admitted into court as evidence. So it's important. It is. I mean, just beyond the scope of what we use it for. And so I just wanted to come and present a little something and say thank you for the time and effort that the guys down at the plant have done over the years. I know the people there now haven't been doing it the whole 50 years, obviously, but the city's made it a priority over those years to provide the data to us, and we appreciate it. And I guess that's kind of the long and the short of it. So I'm assuming I'm giving it to you and you can get it to the people that need be.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Any questions that raises, or just thought I'd give the opportunity?
No, I honestly didn't know. I mean, I saw this on the agenda and I didn't know we've been doing this for 50 years. So that's pretty impressive and fantastic. Buzz probably was involved. He was working with the city right next to you forever as well. So very neat. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Number 15 on the agenda, introduction of our city's newest full-time police officer, Chief.
All right. Well, it looks like the owls are swiveling.
It's not small.
The owls are swiveling, so it's safe to go out there. It's safe, just like, you gotta watch out, they're pointed over here in this direction, so. We'll stand over here. So, do you want me for this part? I can go back there for this part.
Well, yeah.
What are you gonna do first?
Go ahead, first.
This is like deja vu, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You wanna raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Christopher Ackley,
I, Christopher Ackley,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Wisconsin
of the State of Wisconsin
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the
to
Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of
of
Wisconsin,
the State of Wisconsin,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of police officer
of the office of police officer
of the city of Horicon
of the city of Horicon
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance to
and in accordance to
the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics.
the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Travis Matthews, so his wife come up here and get on his band. No. So this is Chris's wife, Lisa, and his two daughters. Adeline's, what, 9?
Yep.
And Ava's 6.
Yes.
So we'll just let her come back. Sorry, I don't want to choke you.
There you go.
So, a little background on Chris Ackley. So he was sworn in officially on October 17th, but his wife, Lisa, is a school teacher over at Beaver Dam, and she had parent-teachers conference. So the one thing that I base our police department on is family. Family always comes first. So even though he was already sworn in, it's a big step for his family because Chris is switching careers at a very young age.
Yes.
He's served the military and continues to serve the military for 20 years. He is in a police unit. I don't understand all the acronyms, but I believe it's the 102nd Military Police Unit.
Correct, yep.
And he still gets, well, you got deployed twice. Once, I actually took notes this time. What was it, 1 year in Iraq and 18 months in Afghanistan?
Mhm.
And he received a lot of Army medals and accommodations for beyond and more for his performance going beyond and above. So what we basically look for when we're hiring candidates for officers is their character. Because you cannot build character quality in an individual that's already instilled in them. And I have worked with Chris personally on the SWAT team, and he has had my back for about 3 or 4 years. When I tried out, I learned a lot from Chris, and moving forward, he brings a lot to the city of Horicon, where he was a paramedic in Beaver Dam. He was a captain, shift captain over at the fire department in Beaver Dam, and then he transferred or took a job in Mequon as the battalion chief over there. So he brings a lot of leadership skills that'll help our department, and also I have talked to him about assisting with the shortage of EMS personnel because of the coverage and the possibility of the shift that he's going to be on. He would be able to take calls of service there. And then also with his fire background, we are looking at him. Chief Tesh and I talked about it, and he would be a good arson investigator since he already knows the fire aspect of what's going to incorporate there. So he's bringing on a lot of leadership skills and a lot of skills that is going to benefit the city in general, not just the police department. So I just wanted to introduce you to Chris because you'll be seeing him out there, and he's been doing a wonderful job the last month. He's fitting into our family just perfectly. He's learning the ins and outs and the everything that we've talked to you about with hurdles with other attorneys that we have to be involved with. But it's been an eventful day and the last couple days. But
Absolutely.
he is going to be wonderful for our department and city. You guys have any questions for him?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Agenda item 16, Scott here, act on the cost sharing plan with the Horicon School District to market and develop the vacant property on South Finch Street. If we have a motion,
Do you want to listen?
we could, or we could during the discussion. Why don't you go first?
Sure. Scott Harrington, Vanderwall, nice to see you all again. Item on the agenda tonight is to share with the school district in the planning and search for redevelopment of their site on Finch Street. We were here a couple of months ago and kind of discussed this in concept. Since then, we've kind of added some more detail to it, which you can see in the very last page of your packet with both the schedule and kind of a outline of a cost share. We did meet with the school district board last night. They unanimously approved contributing their share of $16,250. The superintendent, Rich, was very supportive of it, and the school board chair, who I think all of you know, was also very excited about it. As we kind of described when we were here before, we kind of have these 5 different sort of steps or components of it. First one is to just really get a handle on the site. There are some pretty major utilities that cross it. We already have some idea of where they're located, but are those things that we can try to work around? Would we need to move 1 or 2 of them? What would the cost of that be? What are the trade-offs of that? So we'll be working with Kunkel Engineering on some of that. So some of the fee would go to them as well. We'd also do a little deeper dive into your demographics to kind of figure out what kind of housing needs there are, but we pretty well suspect that there's a need for senior housing, that you have a lot of people in the community who are living in a larger home than maybe they would like and have more maintenance than they prefer to deal with, and that if they had some other place to go, they would, but they don't, so they stay in their house. And so if we could maybe create some senior living that would allow people to leave their current home, then that would open up those homes for young families. So I don't want to say we're committed to that, but that's certainly one area that we'll be taking a close look at and looking closer at the demographics and what the housing needs are. We also don't want to sort of get into a competitive situation with the project at City. So we know there's several different types of housing being built out there. We'd like to see these projects sort of go around at the same time. And so we don't want to have something that would really compete head to head, but would in effect hit another market niche. And we think there are several market niches that are currently unaddressed in Horicon that the two projects together could help address. The yellow box kind of talks about planning process. When you have a large open space like this that's been that way effectively forever, and then you want to start developing it, that obviously has a lot of interest of the neighbors. And so we would want to kind of go through a public planning process to look at options for that area, to get the neighborhood understanding why this is happening, give them a voice and kind of what happens there, to really try to, resolve any community issues before we invite a developer to the table, so that when we do start to look for developers, we can explain to them, hey, this is what's going to work, this isn't what's going to work, so that they have eyes wide open kind of look at it. But that ought to make the property quite a bit more marketable, because one of the biggest challenges developers face are risks. And so people think the worst thing you can tell a developer is no. Actually, the worst thing you can tell a developer is I don't know, because that means go spend a amount of money and a lot of time, throw things against the wall. Maybe something will stick or maybe not. When they know there's places where the community has figured it out, has a vision, has agreement, most people don't want to fight City Hall. They want the easy path, and we're trying to kind of clear the path for them for whatever it may be, so that it makes it that much more attractive. We also think that we can get a little more density on that site. The school district did have an appraisal done. I think the number came out quite a bit lower than what the school district was hoping for, and I think it's because the appraiser made an assumption that it would just be kind of low density single family, and assumed a small handful of houses, and assess the value of the land and fairly low as a result. So I think through this process, we hopefully could get the school district more money for the site. It is adjoining TID 6, and so if we feel like there's going to need to be some help with some of the infrastructure, like I said, moving one of those utility lines or creating a new street or closing financial gaps with the project, then we can very easily add this parcel to TID 6, which is the downtown TIF, through a very simple amendment process. And at that same time, we've already talked about amending TID 5, which is the kind of Deer 101 and the Marshland Crossing area, which is currently generating a little bit of a surplus, to donate funds to the downtown TIF, so that we maybe could create a facade and building improvement program. So that's not directly related to this, but it's easier to kind of do all those amendments at one time, because you can do as many amendments as you want at once. The process is the same. So rather than having to hold a whole bunch of meetings, we can kind of combine all that together. Developer recruitment, we work with communities in finding developers, have a lot of relationships with the developers, not that we work for them, but through this kind of a process where we solicit developer interest. We can do that formally through an RFP process, or we can just make some calls. When we get to that stage, we'll sort of figure out what we think would be most effective. But we're not realtors, but we've got a pretty good track record of bringing interested parties to the table, and we can help with that and sort of expedite the process along the way. And then after that would be any developer negotiations, probably going to need to rezone the property, potentially a TIF deal, and we would help with that. So as you can kind of see the steps and the schedule, we're looking at this being about a year-long process with somebody probably breaking ground in spring of '24. It's possible that we could move through this quicker and maybe they could get started late next summer, early next fall, but I guess to set more reasonable expectations, I think we're suggesting that we look for a spring of '24 ground break and kind of get through this beforehand. But again, I think this is a great collaborative process with the school district. As I told the board last night, you know, I've been working, our company has worked with the city for I think like 30 some odd years. I've been involved now for going on, I think, close to 10. And this is probably one of the single largest development-ready sites that's in the city. You know, we have a lot of land surrounding us, but as far as a site that's in the city, that's empty, that's got water and sewer and stormwater all kind of right there and ready to go, you don't really have a lot of sites of this size. Even City View wasn't quite as ready as this is. So I think it'll be a great addition to the tax base and to the neighborhood. And happy to answer any questions about the process or the cost share or anything else. But again, the school board did approve this unanimously last night for their share of the cost.
Is there any questions? Yes?
And I should add too, by adding this to TID 6, it would all be a TID eligible cost. So it wouldn't come out of the general fund, it would come out of the TID.
All right, agenda item 16, act on the cost sharing plan. Do we have a motion to act on the cost sharing plan?
So move.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? All right, if not, clerk, please call the roll.
As I understand, this is a motion to enter into a cost-sharing plan with the Horicon School District to market, develop vacant property on South Finch Street as proposed on a memo dated 11/4/2022 from Van de Wall and Associates, Inc. Correct?
Yes.
Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Dick Marshke,
Aye.
Marie Fenske,
Aye.
Don Miller,
Aye.
Bryce Remy.
Aye.
Great. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
The agenda item 17, mayor's appointment of the director of public works and utilities.
Make sure you add.
Great. I make a motion to appoint Cody Vanderhei as the Director of Public Works and Utilities as of Monday, 11/21/2022. Agenda item 18, act on the mayor's appointment. Do I have a motion to accept my appointment?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any other discussion on Cody while he's here?
You good with this?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm excited. Can't wait to get started.
What are you doing?
Yesterday.
Yeah, right? I've been on vacation.
You get vacation now?
Probably not.
If there's no other further discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
So motion to approve Mayor Moss's appointment of Cody Vanderhei as the Director of Public Works Utilities effective 11/21/2022. Bryce Remy,
Aye.
Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Dick Marshke,
Aye.
Marie Fenske,
Aye.
Don Miller.
Aye.
Motion carries. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
Agenda item 19, act on the wage rate for Director of Public Works and Utilities.
Okay. Hey.
So We were looking to propose that you would, the rate would stay the same as what was proposed in our ordinances from beginning of the year 2022. Chris, do you have that number, or do we need to make it a motion if we're gonna just use the same ordinance?
Yes, yes, you would need the motion, and yes, I have the number.
What is that number?
$6,969.67.
Say that again?
Per month. $6,969.67 per month.
I couldn't hear you.
So I'll make a motion to approve a wage rate of $6,969.67 a month for the Director of Public Works and Utilities, effective of 11/21/22.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion on it?
Thank you, Chris.
Not, clerk, please call the roll.
As I understand, this is a motion to authorize paying Cody Vanderheide, newly appointed Director of Public Work Utilities per the existing wage ordinance 2022-02, $6,969.67 per month effective 11/21/2022. Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Dick Marshke,
Aye.
Marie Fenske, Don Miller,
Aye.
Bryce Remy,
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda item 20 is in your packet to act on the change order number 2 from Keeling Waste Removal and Demolition LLC for the raising of the buildings at 612 South Hubbard Street.
This is also to cover items that were no longer in there during the
no,
initial.
this is change order number 2, which reflects directly to the increase in fuel.
Okay. I see.
So if I'm reading this right, they're looking for an additional $9,021.13.
You are correct.
That's just for the fuel?
Correct.
Do we have a
Have you done this in
motion?
the past?
Huh?
Have you done this in the past? I mean, I know we've done change orders and that, but, and I know you can't foresee the price of fuel going or when. But,
I thought when we were talking to begin with to expect that. If anyone else?
I
Yes.
did too, that's what I was getting at.
Because they said it right when they did the thing that to expect that there will be a change order for fuel.
Back in May, you received a letter. This was contemplated by Personnel and Finance back in May or June. At that point, Personnel and Finance recommended change order 1 and had recommended that this entity come back for change order number 2 with an adjustment for fuel once that adjustment was a known adjustment.
Do you know why it
This is
took
the
so
known
long?
adjustment. Pardon?
Do you know why it took so long? Just curious, since June.
I cannot state, well, the project wasn't done until August, I think,
August.
so.
Yeah, he cleared site, I think, in August. I don't know that I was expecting it to be a $9,000 adjustment. That seems high. I know it's diesel.
I did receive a pay request from, I had received a first and final pay request for this project, which
9,000.
included change order number 2 with it. I did not pay change order number 2 because that had not been approved by the council.
Right.
Included
Forrest.
with that was some documentation that went along with this fuel increase, but the documentation that was included with it only pertained to the invoice that is submitted with this change order in the amount of $6,951.77, which was for June.
Is this charge also added on to the tax roll for the property?
It would be turned around and billed to the property, yes.
Forrest, if you take $9,000 at $5 a gallon, that's 1,800 gallons.
Yeah.
That seems a little excessive.
Well, essentially, according to this spreadsheet, he's looking to charge the city anything that he paid for fuel that was over $3 a gallon.
I think he had a lot of hauling that he did too that
Oh, I know,
he wasn't expecting.
probably
So
is
again,
not that
Again,
excessive,
there are
but it seems.
receipts that can document, there's literal fuel receipts that he can document for the month of June in the amount of $6,951,
Yep.
which is one of the 3 invoices that are related to change order number 2.
Was this last payment to so that this would be completed then?
Right, there was only we received from Kunkel just the one and only pay request. I did not pay the full pay request because change order number 2 had not been approved by council. So I approved the initial contract and change order number 1, which had been previously approved by council, but I did not pay this because there's no authorization.
So it just need to be a motion to approve them.
If you were to approve that dollar amount or
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve change order number 2 for, is it Burley?
yes.
For the additional fuel charges in the amount of $9,021.13.
The only thing that I want to say about that too is, even if fuel did go up $1 a gallon, that's a very excessive amount for, and it wasn't $1 a gallon. It was close to $1 a gallon, but you're only raising it. You're not paying for the whole. It was
You're not
budgeted.
paying for all the gas, you're paying for everything above 3. And a lot of it probably was diesel, so probably $1.50, $2 every gallon.
Diesel was $4 a gallon, or close to $4 a gallon now.
I know it was up there, and he had a lot of trucks running in and out of there, hauling everything away.
I know, but it still seems,
And yet, I'm sure he paid for the fuel for the guys coming from the walk.
in other words, maybe he didn't budget enough for fuel.
I will second Forrest's motion.
Is there any other discussion on it? All right, clerk, please call the roll.
As I understand, this is a motion to approve change order number 2 from Gelig Waste Removal and Demolition LLC in the amount of $9,021.13 for the raising of buildings at 612 South Hubbard Street. Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Dick Marshke,
No,
Marie Fenske,
Aye.
Don Miller,
Aye.
Bryce Remy,
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda item 21 is acting upon the December common council meeting date.
I just put this on here this is entirely up to you guys. The regularly scheduled council meeting is December 27th. Totally fine to have it that night, but if you wanted to consider having it December 20th, which is the Tuesday before.
everything gonna be done by then?
Ultimately, one of the reasons I did think of moving it ahead up that week is that I know some departments are potentially looking at utilizing some unused funds for purchasing items, and so they will potentially be asking for budget transfers to make those purchases. And so if you approve a budget transfer on the 27th, that leaves on the 28th and the 29th to get it done, which is a little tight. And that's assuming that the departments are going to be fully staffed and available to do those transactions that week in those 2 days. So moving it to the 20th would probably assist those departments that are looking to utilize some unused funds for purchase of items. Ultimately, I don't have an opinion either way, so you guys can choose to do whatever you want. If you want to keep it on the 27th, then no action is required. If you want to change it to the 20th, then you would need a motion and a second and approval. I did not ask the mayor, so I don't know what his opinion is on it.
It's council's meeting, so it's up to the folks in the room.
Makes no difference to me. Both days are good for me, so.
No difference to me.
I prefer the 20th.
In that case, I prefer the 27th.
um,
Either day works. I'm okay.
Then I'll make a motion, we change it to December 20th.
I will second.
Thank you.
Oh, it was for her.
No, it wasn't. This was
I'm
completely
just
put on.
thinking,
for me.
you know.
Is there any discussion on the date?
Hasn't passed.
6 PM, I assume.
Yes.
Yes.
If not, clerk, please call the roll.
This is a motion to change the December council meeting to December 20th at 6 PM. Don Miller,
Aye.
Bryce Remy,
Aye.
Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Dick Marshke,
Aye.
Marie Fenske,
Aye.
Motion changed. The meeting will now be on December 20th next month. Agenda item 22 are operator licenses. Dick,
Make a motion to approve 1-year operator's license, June 30th, 2023 for Sean Sutton. The only thing, this was not approved, and we denied it at public safety.
I do apologize, the copy that is in your council packet
You
does
couldn't
not,
read it yet.
does not have does not have the reason that the chief recommended it for denial or the reason for denial. It does not have that on the back.
But it was not approved at public safety.
do you have a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? If not, clerk, please call the roll.
Dick Marshke,
No.
Marie Fenske,
No.
Don Miller,
Aye.
Bryce Remy,
No.
Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Motion fails. Agenda item 23 is the acting on the financial statement for October of 2022. Forrest?
It was not in your packet. It was completed today. It was emailed to everybody once it was completed today, and there was a copy on your desk.
Motion to approve the financial statement for October 2022 is provided to you.
Second.
Any further discussion on the financial statement? All right, if not, clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Dick Marshke,
Aye.
Marie Fenske,
Aye.
Don Miller,
Aye.
Bryce Remy,
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda item 24 is acting upon the bills for October of 2022 in the amount of $4,623,307.48. Forrest?
Motion to approve the bills for October in the amount of $4,623,307.48.
Second.
Any discussion on our bills? If not, clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Dick Marshke,
Aye.
Marie Fenske,
Aye.
Don Miller,
Aye.
Bryce Remy,
Aye.
Motion carries. Do we have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, clerk, please call the roll.
Bryce Remy,
Aye.
Forrest Fromme,
Aye.
Dick Marshke, Marie Fenske,
Aye.
Don Miller,
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Now I know where to come and get some extra